It's a classic.
Starts in my toes and I crinkle my nose. Wherever it goes, I always know you make me smile. Please stay for a while now. Just take your time wherever you go. Fuck you.
Whoa! We gotta lower that part. Yeah. That is not PG-13, guys.
It's
we
okay.
apologize in
it's
advance.
Party night. It's party night. And with that, guys, with that being said, what's up, everybody?
Whoa!
How's it going? We are here.
There we go.
Now that people are gonna pay attention to our voices,
Yeah,
it's like
we cannot pass too much about this part of the song
Yeah.
because it's not very clear.
just keep talking. And guys, today we have a special episode. It's a little later than usual for us.
Yes,
but
and there's a reason
There's
why.
a reason, and it's a really, really good reason. And I can't wait to share it with you. I'm excited to be back, man. It's Wednesday. It's been a crazy week,
Wednesday.
and there's no better moment to start the show.
I know. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
All right, you ready?
I'm very excited for this topic because I think it is. It is. I think is where we find ourselves now.
Yeah.
In our company, right? So it's so relevant.
Can't wait to dive in and ask all the questions.
I
All
know.
of them. All of them.
Let's do
You
it.
know, we had a little chat before, and we're going for like a 12-hour marathon. So be ready, Faisal.
Yeah.
All right.
Get your snacks. Get
Your
your water.
snacks.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
Because
That's right.
we're going all out here.
All right, guys. You ready, folks?
I'm ready.
All right, good. Bye-bye, music.
Rock and roll.
All right. Here we go.
We've got some
Hey, I'm Luis.
I'm Luis.
And you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast.
We spent the last 4 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit. And today we are bringing them to you so you can take action immediately and start creating content momentum.
If you'd like to learn more on how to turn that content into profit, just go to contentisprofit.com. There's a surprise there for you.
Oh yeah, guys. And today, how to scale impact and income while saving 15 hours per week.
Yes.
What?
Yes, please.
Yes, that sounds
Yes, please.
absolutely amazing.
Fonzie, do we have a sponsor today?
Indeed, we do. And today's sponsor is your own, The Biz Bros.
We're so lucky.
With content momentum. And you might be
Thank
asking
you.
yourself,
Thank you.
what is content momentum? Well, if you produce long-form content, blah, 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 blah.
Come on, Fonzie, you got this.
I was eating M&M's right before coming in here. So my tummy's like, like chocolatey and stuff. But if you produce long-form content just like this one that you're listening to or watching, right, and you want to turn into value-packed, bite-sized assets, so then you can sell like little minions into social media so they can get clients for you.
Go.
Just slide in the DMs at BizBrosCo on Instagram and Facebook. We want to help you out.
Sweet. And with that, guys, please go ahead and smash that subscribe button so you know when these awesome episodes are dropping on your phone and you don't miss any of the awesomeness. And like Fonzie said, follow us on social media at BizBrosCo.
That's right, guys. And if you find this episode impactful, which I am sure you will, because who doesn't want to save 15 hours per week? Don't forget to share it.
No.
And give a 5-star review.
Trivia time. What has been the second country with the most guests at Content is Profit? Well, we'll do like Dora and give you 2 seconds to answer.
1, 2.
That was close, but no, it's no Kazakhstan. Did I say
Kazakhstan?
Kazakhstan. It's not that. It's actually Australia. And guess what? Today's guest woke up pretty early to be here with us.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You know the drill. Get your pen and paper because she's bringing the heat. Today's guest helps entrepreneurs save at least 15 hours per week and scale by using her systems, processes, and executive assistant matchmaking and training. Let's be real here. What would you do if you could free up 15 hours of your time every single week?
Yes.
Would you spend them with your family? Would you
Absolutely.
spend them maybe, in your hobbies?
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I would do. I would spend those 15 hour just listening to content is profit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just saying.
Not only that, Fonzie, she has been featured on Fox News and Yahoo Finance as top 20 female entrepreneur in 2020. She has helped businesses scale past 7 figures and, in some cases, 10x the revenue in a 4-week period. But wait, there is more. She does all this while being a full-time mom and the most important and difficult job in the world.
This is so exciting. And not only that, guys, she also has a super cool accent. This couldn't get any better. Please welcome systems and processes expert, incredible mother, and Australian queen, Miss Isla Brooks.
Woohoo! Oh my goodness, what an introduction. Thank you so much, guys. I'm so excited to be here.
Welcome, Isla.
Yes, thank you. And we said the name right. The first time, I remember the first time I had a call with you, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. First time I'm meeting, this MVP. I'm like, what's up, Isla? And I'm like, the full Hispanic just like went right ahead. And she's like, well, it's actually Isla, but that's kind of cute too. You were so nice.
Don't worry, everybody gets it wrong, so it's all good. I forgive you.
Oh man, you're just being too nice. Yeah, but we cannot be more excited to have you here because this topic is so important in entrepreneurship, right? And but before we dive into that, why don't you share with us and the audience a little bit about who you are? Where do you come from? Why this project that you're like tackling head on, helping so many entrepreneurs?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to share. Thank you so much. So my entrepreneurial journey started a few years back when I became a solo mama to my 2 gorgeous girls. And I thought to myself, okay, how am I going to use my professional skills and be able to have time with my girls? Because they were my priority. They're only 1 and 2 at the time. So I wanted to make sure that whatever I was doing, I could still have that balance with my children as well. So that sort of led me to my entrepreneurship journey, and I'd just been made redundant from my corporate job. And I know in the States, you guys use the term laid off or something like that, I think, but our term is redundant. So it's when there's no position left for you. And so at the time, because I was on maternity leave, I'd actually started an online business, and I was basically marketing that just using Instagram, and it was going really well back in the days when the good old organic content was running really easily. And so I was already building a business through Instagram, and I was having other people and other women ask me, how are you growing your business? Like, what are you doing? So I started coaching women in business and helping them with how to grow and start an online business. And so from there, I wanted to learn more about marketing. And so obviously I delved right into Russell's content and people like that. And I started traveling to the US and being a part of a lot of those masterminds and groups and surrounding myself with people who were doing similar things that I wanted to be doing, and so that I could learn more about the marketing side of my business. And through doing that, I ended up consulting to many entrepreneurs in the States. And from there, that's where I had people asking me, Isla, how do I find somebody like you? How do I find someone like you in my business that can help me do all of the things you do for these other entrepreneurs? And I thought to myself, that's a very interesting question. So instead of trying to sort of go, okay, well, I can't be everything to everybody, how about I create a program that trains people to do all of these things that I'm doing for other entrepreneurs to help them save time and money and scale as well. So that's where I formed the Executive Virtual Assistant Academy. And I've been training virtual assistants, executive virtual assistants, to work with entrepreneurs and help them grow and scale using the skills and the knowledge that I have learned over the years.
Cool. Wow, that's awesome. I love how it all started, right, with, wanting to spend more time with your daughters, right? I mean, and I feel that's the motivation behind many entrepreneurs, right? Spending more time with their family, gaining that freedom, right? And we quoted this last episode, that is, the goal is not to get rich. The goal is independence, right? That freedom.
Absolutely.
And I love how that has been your driver since the beginning. the other thing that I love that I got immediately is you listen to the market. You didn't, just come out there and be like, I will sell this to some people that you found around. No, like people started asking you and you were listening to them. And then when you went ahead and created your product, right? And I'm sure we're not diving in just a second, that I feel like my brother has something to say. So I'm gonna let it off to him real quick.
We love highlighting like all these things because, sometimes we tend to share our stories and you have it perfectly. And, with content, that's a very powerful tool, like knowing how to tell your story, but also like you coming from Australia and we'll talk about environment so many times, like in so many episodes, and it's been so important for us too. You coming from Australia, you're like, hey, where are, these amazing people that I can surround myself with, right? And then you flew all the way to the United States to be with those people that talk about commitment, right? My question to you is, do you always know about environment? It was something that you learned before? It was that like this gut feeling that you have, like, I need to go where like these people are, I need to learn from them. I need to be like in proximity with them so I can start executing. It was something that came natural to you, or like, how did you come like through, like, how do you learn that concept?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think for me, my background's always been in learning and development. So even in the corporate space, I've always been in leadership development, executive team development, all of those sorts of things. So I've always been a lifelong learner. I've always been very curious as to learning new ideas and new ways of doing things. And I think with that comes the understanding that if you want to learn something new, you really need to immerse yourself in that environment. And I've always had that belief of wanting to learn from the best. So whenever I've been wanting to do something new or progress in my career or my life, I've always had that belief of wanting to learn from the best and the person that is getting the best results. So that is a big thing for me. And yes, it was very, very scary to go all in and to say, I had 2 little girls, and for a start, leaving them for a short period of time was hard enough. But the reason, and it always comes back to them as the reason, because I was doing it for them. So by me investing in these things and by going and doing these things, it was going to benefit us and our future, which it has. And I think that's the thing as well, is to always think, come back to your why, come back to your values, and, create opportunities that are going to progress you forward faster. Because if I hadn't have done that, I would say that I would be 2 years behind where I am at now. So it definitely progressed me forward very fast. Yes.
Wow, that's awesome to hear, right? Because I feel like a lot of people, especially people starting up, right? Because we're gonna have to, I feel, divide a little bit here, because the people that you work with, right, they're already a little bit more advanced, in need of someone in their business that can take over, right, the task that they're putting their time into. But for people, especially that are starting, that is such an important concept, because we thought we had to keep ourselves motivated, right? We had to, I guess the expression is like bang on our chest and be like, yeah, we can do it. And it's so easy as finding the right people and be like, how I get really, really close to them and learn as much as I can. And let me tell you, for us, that has been the podcast, right? The podcast has been huge for us, because it allows us to have conversations with people, just incredible people, people like Marley Jacks, Steve Larson, Alex Charfin, right? And every single time we have a conversation, when we turn off the camera, we look at each other and we're like, wow, what just happened? Like this, we just leveled up. This feels amazing. So thank you so much for bringing that point to the table. And I'm curious, like, I'm sure along the way you must have had some challenges. These moments where you felt maybe like, hey, this is not worth it, I'm about to quit, What were those moments and what kept you going through those?
Absolutely. I had many of those moments as a solo mum, trying to raise my children, trying to financially support them, and do all of those things and make sure that I was spending time with them. I had to get up early. I had to do 4 a.m. meetings. I had to stay up late. I had to push myself. And I I don't promote doing that long term. Like, that's not something I think you should have to do long term. Hence why I've developed my program so that you can actually save time and get your life back. So it's kind of evolved in that way. But absolutely. I evolved throughout this whole period. Like, I didn't know that I'd be where I am now in this particular niche doing what I'm doing. At the start, I was just coaching women in business and helping women in business. So I've had to evolve, and I've had to show up, and I've had to just say yes, even if I didn't know the answer. And I think that's really important too in entrepreneurship is if you're given an opportunity and you don't really know the full outcome just yet, or the full step by steps, it's really important to still put your hand up and say, yes, I'll give it a go. Yes, I can do it. Because if you're the type of person who's driven and you have skills and you can, utilize those skills in many ways, you will find a way. And I think at those times, it's very easy to give up because you think, oh my goodness, like this is too much. I don't know the plan. I don't have the steps. But a lot of the times when I've been transitioning or evolving or trying to figure things out, I've always just gone, okay, what's the next step? What's the next thing that I need to do to get me where I need to be? So try not to think about the whole thing at once, because in saying that, look, I started my Eva Academy and I was training people to become executive virtual assistants. But then I had all these entrepreneurs coming to me saying, Isla, okay, so you're training these executive virtual assistants. How can I recruit an executive virtual assistant? Can you help me with that? So then it evolved, and now I'm in this place where I actually help entrepreneurs recruit, and we find somebody that's the perfect match for them. But we also have these amazing people coming through and getting trained in that area. So it's like I'm not only helping the entrepreneurs, but I'm helping professional people who want to get into this space and work with entrepreneurs. I get to help both sides. And this evolved because I was doing just recruitment on its own as well. And I was doing the academy. And now I've come to a place where it's all working together really well. But that wasn't what I thought it would be a year ago. So it's always evolving.
Wow, that's such an important point there. Like, we obviously within our context, we talk about content evolution, right? Like, people start publishing one piece and then that starts to evolve into like a longer piece or into a show. Like we have our own story from Facebook Lives to this live show, then a bunch of assets, right? And at the end of the day, like, that's a process, right? But then you grab that vertical and put it in your business, on the business vertical with the processes and operations and systems, that's going to evolve, right? And I think a lot of people starting their own businesses or their own ventures feel like that's very fixed. And then it commit to one thing. It's like, oh, it has to be like perfect. Like, well, the second you change perspective and that starts to like move and be like, okay, let me give myself permission to start adapting, it will change into a wonderful thing. And you are the perfect example of that. You started by listening to your audience. You continue by listening to your audience, right? They're like, Isla, how do I actually do A? And then you're like, here it is, right? And then you're like, Isla, how do I actually do B? Oh, here it is, right? And continue to listen to your audience. You are providing the solution that they want, which we talk a lot about here on the show, right? It's like that frictionless, we call it frictionless sale. But at the end of the day, it's like the value is really what they want instead of what they need. But it's like want and need, which is more powerful, right? Now you're helping so many people. So thank you for bringing that out. I want to highlight that again because it's the second time that comes up. It's like listening to your audience, guys. Please, if you're listening and watching, let this be the lesson of the first 20 minutes. Not only on your business, like your content, like what is the audience telling you? What is your clientele telling you? Like, what is the solutions, right? Sometimes we want to push what we really want to push out there, but then we don't listen, and then we wonder why it's not working out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And a while ago, I was editing this podcast episode with Phil Jones. He's a salesman from the UK and super wise guy. Honestly, I was like, wow, that was super impressive. First time I heard it. And he said something that really stuck out to me. He's like, the moment I gained clarity was the moment I realized nobody knew what they were doing. And I was like, oh, that's so
true.
He's like, they go one step at a time, right? And that's exactly
Yeah.
what you described.
And I think that's what happens is we all look at these people on social media, we look at entrepreneurs on social media and we think, oh, they've got it all figured out. Like, how come they've got it all figured out? How come they've got everything running perfectly? Well, nobody has it figured out. It's 100% true. Like, I don't know what's going to happen in a year's time, but exactly right. You just keep evolving. You keep adding to what you're doing. And you might think, oh, I could be doing all of these different things. I think that's another mistake we make is we think, but I could be helping someone with this and this and this and this. Yeah. But it's not about what what you're, okay, I've got all of these things I can offer you. It's about what your audience wants and just running with that one thing and just evolving that one thing and not trying to be everything to everyone.
Yeah.
I think you just said the three words, some of the three words that are my favorite this year. The one thing right there. Because we used to call ourselves the anti-marketing agency. We would go to places and they'll be like, yeah, we're doing this and there. We're like, oh yeah, we can do everything else. Whatever you want, we'll do it, right? We'll try to figure it out.
It was an amazing pitch. I mean, the second we what do you guys do? Well, we're actually anti-marketing agency. Like, oh man, I've been having all these issues with my marketing agency.
It's very polarizing.
And that was great. But at the end of the day, like when it's time to execute, it was like, okay, there's like 40 different processes.
Yeah.
What do we actually do, right? And then it became a problem.
Yeah, and it wasn't actually until January, right, that we went to Funnel Hacking Live and we started to talk to people and, listen to the market, that we discovered that it's like, okay, what is that one thing that we need to do, focus on it, and start doing it, right? So if I'm not mistaken, your one thing right now is helping people scale, right, their income and save 15 hours a week
at least
by training and pretty much matchmaking their executive assistants, right?
That's correct. Exactly. That's exactly right. So it's through my methodologies, my training, my specific processes and systems that my executive virtual assistants that come into my academy learn. And so they're already getting trained and certified in my academy. And so I have entrepreneurs come to me and say, hey, Isla, I need an executive virtual assistant. Yes, we might be able to matchmake somebody that's come through our academy. We actually have an online directory now where it's literally somewhere that entrepreneurs can come and find a trained executive virtual assistant. Or if an entrepreneur comes to me and says, hey, Isla, I already have an executive assistant or executive virtual assistant, but I would love them to be trained in your methods. That's great as well. So we can do that too. We can do either way. Or if, there's not a fit with somebody that's coming through my academy, because a lot of the times people come through my academy and they get snapped up so fast that we need to be getting more people in. So if an entrepreneur comes to me and they're like, Isla, do you have someone? And we don't, we will source somebody for you. So you can pretty much come to us and we will help you find that one person that is going to help you save at least 15 hours a week. And the way we do it is, as an entrepreneur, you should be focusing on the visionary of your business. You should be driving your business forward and you should be focusing on content and the things you guys talk about. So you should be the person, the face of your brand, and you should be creating videos. You should be doing all of the marketing, those sorts of things, the sales. You shouldn't be bogged down in the tactical day-to-day running of your business. And that's where, come to us, you find your right-hand person that can run the operational side of your business so you can focus on the other things.
That's amazing, and I know that before we jump in this call, I told you I was reading a book that I think was perfect for today's conversation, right? And I didn't tell you which one it was, so it would have come as a surprise.
Surprise.
So the book is Good to Great.
I was going to say 50 Shades of Grey.
I love that book.
It's not that book.
I also said before the conversation I was going to throw a dad joke out there, and don't judge me.
So the book is Good to Great by Jim Collins. I don't know, by really any chance, have you read that book?
I have. I love that book. It's a great book. Are you enjoying it?
Yes, so much. Like, you have no idea, right? And I think it's speaking in a very special way to me, because while I'm reading, I'm like, wow, I find myself in this situation right now. And I think that's why this conversation with you right now we're so excited for, because we find ourselves in a situation where we're like, okay, how do we, not fully embrace, I think we're already embraced, but like, how do we fully transition into that visionary, right, position in our company, and we can have someone, right, take over the operation side and help us there, right? Like you said, get our time back. And it's literally this morning, I was reading the chapter that talked about the who, not the what, right? It's important to get the right person on the bus, not just someone that is gonna, follow you on your strategy, but also someone that is willing to, put their 2 cents, challenge some ideas as well.
Yes.
It was very interesting to me, because you always hear like, hey, it is all part of the management. Like if a company is successful, it's because of just the leadership and all that stuff. And it's like, no, it's the whole team. So how important is to get the right person on the bus, right? And what do you see are some of their qualities that they bring into this business?
Absolutely. So I think it's really important to start with to really define exactly what their role is going to be. And the way you can do that is by looking at what you are currently doing as the leader in the business, and really even going through your calendar or writing down what you're doing every day for a week, and looking at, okay, what are the visionary tasks I'm doing? What are the strategic tasks I'm doing? And what are the tactical tasks I'm doing? Because if you're doing many tactical tasks, that can be turned into processes. And even if the processes are in your head at the moment, they're not written down yet, that's okay. Because the idea is to go through your week, map out exactly what you're doing, and then highlight those tactical areas, those tactical tasks that you're doing. And all of those things can be moved to an executive virtual assistant or executive assistant. So it's really important, first of all, to identify what those things you're doing, because you might not even realize. And a lot of the times as leaders, especially if we've, create our business from scratch ourselves, and we might be solopreneurs, it's very hard sometimes to want to let go of some of those tactical items. But as soon as you start doing it, you won't look back. So I think that's the first thing you need to do. And then from there, once you know what the role is going to look like and what that person can help support you with, and I talk about your executive virtual assistant being your right-hand person. Like, this is the person that can grow to be the COO in your company. This is the person that, as a solopreneur, this is your first hire, because they're going to run all the operations and you can be doing the other stuff. So even if you have no one else on your team and you're just using contractors, if you've got that right-hand person that can help you run the day-to-day, that's what you need to start. And I think the other important component is looking at personality type. So really looking at how you work, your personality type. Are you a structured person? Are you not a structured person? And finding somebody that's a good fit for you. And generally, a lot of the people that come into the executive assistant role are people that are very organized, very structured, very conscientious, very detail oriented. And generally, as entrepreneurs, we're visionaries, we're big picture thinkers, we've got the ideas, right? So we need someone that can take our ideas. We're all like that. We need someone that can take our ideas and run with it. And trust me, I'm like that too. And that's why I'm so particular with my program, because I need somebody to support me in that way. And I don't want to miss anything, because once I know someone can support me in that way, then I don't need to worry. Once I trust that person, I don't need to worry. So it's a couple of things. It's identifying what those tasks are, but then it's also finding someone that's a good match for your personality, because exactly, you need someone who you can bounce ideas off, that you can feel comfortable enough to have those conversations. And you want somebody that's going to also challenge you slightly as well. You don't want somebody who's just sort of, yes sir, no sir, like, talking, have that relationship. You want somebody who's like, hey, I've been thinking about this project, and what about this? Why don't we try this? That someone that feels comfortable enough to have those conversations with you as well. And that's something we actually teach also. Yeah.
So I think that is so key. Sorry for interrupting you there real quick.
Never. You're never sorry, Fonzie.
First of all, that is the person that I need, because, like my brother was pointing, I'm like in a different world a lot of times. but that is just so amazing, and it's so simple too.
I think I'm his operation guy. I think that's to this conversation. I think I'm the operation guy of Fonzie. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. You know, it's so simple that what you said about write down what you're doing every single day for like a week, right?
Yeah.
And yet it's so simple, but we don't do it, right? I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like I haven't done it. I haven't sit down like, okay, I spend an hour doing this, an hour doing that, right? I think he has done it, but now I'm thinking about it, like that's exactly what I'm gonna start doing tomorrow. I'm just gonna write down everything that I've been doing and I'm doing.
You're gonna find out that you don't do much.
I just spend 3 hours daydreaming.
No, but that's okay. You're allowed to have dreaming time. You should actually schedule in white space on your calendar.
Yeah, he has a hammock and he goes dream out, and that's fine. You know, it's totally okay. No, but like what Fonzie's saying, yes, it's so important. You know, sometimes we overlook it, and I'm not gonna lie. Since the second I spoke with you, I was like, man, like we always have these processes in our head, right? And they run, and you know, I was like, one example is like we have a process for the podcast. It has probably like 50 steps, right? That for. You know, we were doing on automatic because it was like by repetition. We're episode 97 today, which is awesome, right? And we've done it like 3 times a week, you know, and it happens, right? So I was like, okay, Fonzie, here's like one iteration of this process. Now you do it because you never done it, right? He's like, let me actually like take it off your hands. Let me let me go through it. Let me add different things that I feel from my perspective. And now that process is ready to go and we're ready to give it to somebody else. And we're like, man, all we got to do now for the show is like record, have fun, have blast. And then they can do like the task. And then from that moment on, it was like, okay, each little like vertical of like not only the service itself or like what we do with our team is like step by step, right? And then you know what you mentioned is like the tactical, you know, it turns into a process, right? And then that can be delegated. So it's been super eye-opening, and I wish we knew this like 4 years ago, or you know, find out about this stuff. Like you would say, like, you know it, because there's like the businesses obviously that they run through processes, right? But somehow, and when we decide to do our own thing, it's like, you know, it goes over our head, and we're like, no, I can do everything.
I can do everything.
Yeah. So with that comes my next question. It's like, when is the breaking point? Like, when do you see people coming to you, for example, to look for the solution? Are people being proactive, or are they waiting for like a breaking point to like, man, I'm so desperate. Like, I don't know where I stand. I'm going crazy. I need help now. Where's that breaking point? And then what would be your recommendation like for most of us?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, most of the time people come to me when they're drowning. So a lot of the time it's just like, I cannot keep doing all these things anymore. You know, and trust me, I have people come to me that are solopreneurs and some people that come to me that have teams and they're trying to scale, but things are broken in the back end. So it's like, you know, there's just documents everywhere and processes everywhere, or processes still in your mind. And please, I always say to any business owner that comes to me in this state of just overwhelm, okay, everybody comes to me like this. So please don't think that you're different or be embarrassed or anything like that. Because a lot of the times entrepreneurs think, oh, it's just me and I'm too embarrassed. I actually don't want them to see all my Google Drive or my documents because it's such a mess. And I'm like, no, because you need to think of that as a positive, because people that come through my academy, that's their jam. That's what they love to do. They want it to be like that so they can come in and implement a structure. They thrive on it. So if you're sitting there thinking at the moment, oh gosh, like I've got no processes written down, I just do it because it's all in my head. Like I've been doing it myself. Please don't stress, because that's how everybody starts. And, you know, that's what we do is we come in, and I also have an actual entrepreneur leadership system that when you come and recruit an Eva through my academy, is you get that system as well. So you get all of the systems to build out that basic foundation for your business so that it doesn't break and that you can have that solid foundation to scale.
So that's so awesome. You know, reflecting here, like we do that on the content side. It's funny. We jump on these calls and they don't have structure. They don't have like things like within their content, right? Like, and they're like, somebody's like, oh my god, like I haven't been recording the video this way, right? And I'm like, it's okay, like that's why you came to us. And then we see that like we do that with the service, but then internally inside of our company, right, it's been challenging. I feel like lately this year has been massive progress. And again, it's because of that change of environment for us. Like Fonzie says, the show, we cannot go to events because of what's happening in the world. Wow, we have amazing technology that we can change our environment if we want to have control of that, and then decide to move forward. So that the last year progress has been great, but at the same time it's like, okay, we gotta turn around, look back, and do that. And I'm sure like every company out there, every entrepreneur out there has a process that they help somebody else, right? Either with a product or with a service, right? And we create a structure for somebody else, but then we neglect our own baby, like our own company, and then we don't look back and be like, man, I need to take care of this. So it's awesome that you're bringing that perspective, and I hope everybody listening, please pay attention to it, because this conversation right here is saving you not only years, but it's also saving you 15 hours a week. Please go. Reach out to Ida.
Yeah, no, for sure. It has been very enlightening, let me tell you. It honestly took me back to when we were started editing all the videos for the clients themselves, right? Like I was in the computer just like doing all the editing, and I was tired, but we had no other choice.
I mean, how many videos we would do? This is a little bit maybe perspective, right, for everybody listening. How many videos you were editing back then?
A week,
maybe two.
No, I mean like
macros.
Full macros. Okay, no, we're
macros
doing
like a long video, like an hour video.
So we were like five.
Yeah,
like 5, 6.
Just so you know, just a little perspective right now, we process about 60 of those every month, and increasing. Like the goal is like 100 because of that process of bringing people into those places, so they can go through that. So from going to from
the relief, like what I'm thinking right now is like, wow, like that feeling of relief when we handed the process. That's the other thing, that like I was pretty confident that the process was pretty strong, so when we handed off, I wasn't like scared that something was gonna break in there. Of course there's some sort of like management, and we have our quality control, but I was like, I took a deep breath, and I was like, wow, that feels amazing, right?
He went lay out in the hammock for like 3 weeks.
And actually, we're helping lay down in the hammock for 3 weeks. Pretty accurate, too.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. I mean, we're in Florida, it's tempting to be outside in a hammock. But now we are helping this. We're helping this charity, right, with a campaign that they're doing. It's called Best Buddies. And I told them that I was going to help them edit some videos, right? And the last 2 days, I've been editing videos, back at editing, and I'm like, wow, I don't miss this at all. I don't miss
like you said, right? Like once people have the taste of it, like they're like, never again. So
exactly. No, it's so true. Once you do it once, and also you don't have to have the processes fully mapped out before you outsource it. So an Eva can come in and literally get that process out of your mind and put it into a document. So also keep that in mind, is even if you've got everything in your head right now and you're thinking, oh, I don't even have time to write it all down to hire somebody to then do it, that's okay, because the first step might be you get the person in and then they get everything out of your mind and they put it into an order. So that's also another way you can do it.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow. I'm like, I can wait. I really can't wait till we reach out to you and we're like, we need like 10 of those people.
Let's start with one.
Yeah, we can start with one. Sure.
Because then, it's okay. That person needs to get ready to deal with Fonzie. I've been dealing with Fonzie for
I promise I'll get
the
better.
last 25 years of our life. No, yeah. Please start looking, Isla. Secret, you and me. We're honestly deeply grateful for this conversation, because I feel like it's so useful just at least to listen for a lot of people that are starting up to, hey, this is the change in perspective that I have to have today to be able to scale to a certain point, right? Because there's a limit to how much we can do. And like you said, like through your story, right? You wanted the time to spend with your kids. I have a 1.5 baby. I mean, like this morning I was able to spend time with him. And I remember just thinking this morning, man, like we have this amazing interview tonight. And I'm just gonna go to the office like at 1 p.m. because we're gonna spend the afternoon there, and I'm comfortable doing that because we have people operating on the service side of things, where before, like legit, like 7 months ago, it was just us, right? And it's like that peace of mind. So for a lot of people, just imagine that scenario, right? Go to the scenario that you want, and that's hopefully gonna motivate you to make the right steps and be like, okay, now the solution is there. How can I get it? How can I now afford it? How can, what are the things that I need to do to go actually and go execute?
That being said, I want to remind people that is one step at a time. What we talked before, right? Nobody knows what they're doing. So just focus on that one step that you have in front of you and evolve as you go.
So what would be like a very simple action point? And, we went through a couple in the conversation, but something very simple that every entrepreneur can do today, to move that needle forward with their processes, with their business, with their thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in regards to organization and structure, it's very important to have a structure in your week. So I think by even going through your calendar for that week and writing down everything you're doing, you can then look at how you are spending your time and what you are actually spending your time on and what you're spending most of your time on, because you could even get started straight away of outsourcing one particular area of your week if you needed to. And there are executive assistants that work part-time, or flexible as well. So it's not like you have to hire somebody full-time to start with, but you might find one part of what you're doing, like your calendar management or your admin tasks, that you might want to get somebody else to do. If you can't afford to get somebody else to do it, that's okay. What I would then recommend is when you're looking through your week and your day, think about your most productive time of day. This is really important because I think what we generally do if we're solopreneurs or we're, running a very lean team is we just run through our days. We just put out fires everywhere and we're just trying to just get everything done that we need to get done. And that's not always the most productive way to do things, because then what we tend to do is in our most productive time of day, when we should be doing something that's, going to really use all our brain power, we might just be answering emails and things like that. So I would take it a step back and think about your day. And as you're going through your day, when is your most energy, like when is your energy levels the highest? And identify that, because if it's in the morning for 2 hours, you should be blocking that time off, turning all your devices off and just focusing on that task at hand, because that is your most productive time of day. So you need to really use that energy for that time of day. Or if it's in the afternoon, block out that time. And that is your time. That's your sacred time. And that could be the visionary time, when you're sitting and you're thinking, or maybe you might want to go for a walk, because that's how you get your ideas. Because otherwise we generally do get bogged down in just the tactical and just putting out fires all day. So I think the first thing is really getting your most productive time of day just in place and blocking that out in your calendar and using it in the correct way. I think that would be a really great place to start in moving the needle forward. And then the second thing would be, yes, if you have processes that you do on a regular basis, and it might be a really massive process that you do with your clients or your customers, start mapping it out. Mapping it out so that you can hand that over to somebody else and start getting that written down and start getting it defined, and exactly what you guys did, which is great, which is having somebody else then do the process for you, so you can see, are there any gaps? Is there anything that needs to be tweaked? So that at least you're starting to build that out. Because the thing is, and this is what we think we're invincible as entrepreneurs. We think we're just going, we don't get sick, we just keep going. But what if you are sick for a week? Like, how much is that going to put your business back? If you had that process mapped out, saved in a Google Drive, saved in Asana, saved in a Trello board, wherever it is. You could then just get somebody in, outsource it for that week, and have them run it for you. Because sometimes we don't think about, what if we're not there, or what if we can't do it? And so having these things in place just really minimizes that risk.
Wow. I just want to do this real quick. Oh, yeah, it's that one. There we go.
Ooh.
Yeah. That was a money tip right there.
That's
that
a
was,
money tip.
Oh,
Yes.
I love that. I love a money tip.
That's what we're gonna start calling this segment, the money tip.
the money tip.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. I like you just you just made history in contents profit. You just created the money tip section.
Let's
go. Awesome. So I know you were publishing for a little bit. We talked a little bit about it. What's your take? Where we asked this question, where would you be if you were publishing? Right now, I think you do it for your own people, right? And you've transitioned here and there. What's your take on it?
Yeah. So what I've done is, obviously I do a lot of organic marketing. Instagram's my big place. I really like Instagram. That's where I've always done a lot of my content. And I guess my experience in regards to content is profit is training my Evas to basically run that part of your business. So exactly what you guys are doing, it's like, well, time is profit as well. So then what if you could actually have somebody on your team manage that whole process? So I was consulting and managing teams of graphic designers, videographers, social media managers, and running that whole kind of content process for other people. And I think it's so important, because if you have that process mapped out, you can have somebody like your right-hand person, your executive assistant, run that process, run the team that's delivering that process. And, then your job is just to sit and talk in front of a camera and hand it off to somebody else to do all of the magic you guys do.
Thank you.
That'd be pretty fun, not gonna lie.
That
sounds amazing.
Yeah. So I am gonna throw a shameless plug here, because you did it for other people too, and that's exactly profit can mean so many things, right? For the people that we work, it's they believe so much in content, right? They believe that their message needs to be out there. They believe that their product is actually solving amazing problems out there, right? And they have to communicate it with their audience, and that's exactly what we do. We multiply their message, right? We go in and by saving a ton of time, because we can go from literally as many assets as you want per week. It doesn't really matter. We've had people that publish 55 times. We have people that publish 15 times a week. It doesn't matter, but we're multiplying your time, and then you can actually focus on what you do best, right?
That's a good shameless plug.
Absolutely. No, I 100% agree. You guys, you should be, as the visionary, you should be just doing the visionary things. You should just be doing the videos, or, writing the blog or whatever it is, and handing it off to either you guys or, you know what I mean? Somebody else to do it. You shouldn't be doing that. The same as you shouldn't be doing all the admin stuff. So it's really, our forces combined, you could literally just be working 5 hours a week, really. Let's face it.
Baby, where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? There. That's fun. That's how Bistro started. It's laptop life here next to the pool. And then, for 3 years, we worked 80 hours a week each.
I'm going to be honest. What brings me, a lot of joy is, honestly, this part right here, sharing with people the things that we're learning, the things that we have discovered in our business, right? The new things that we're implementing with our clients, sharing them. That is the part that I absolutely love. So if I could, trade my time for everything that I'm doing right now with doing this the same exact amount of time, I would do it 100%, just because it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wow, what a great way for us to spend the evening. I hope it's a great way for you to spend your morning. Please, you're in the future now. How was how
are the next 12 hours?
The next 12 hours for us, is it going to be awesome?
It's going to be amazing. And you know what? That actually brings me to a very special point, is I actually have an executive assistant in the States as well. So I get work done while I sleep. So I'm saving
More
time
money.
and money while I sleep. How's that?
That's beautiful.
That is really smart.
But you can also give him a heads up. It's like, hey, it just happened in the world, keep it. I always do that. That time travel.
Guys-
No, that's so smart. That's so smart.
You guys
That's
could get yourself an Aussie EA and then you literally will be in the future. You'll be getting stuff done in the future.
And we'll be dealing with awesome accents.
That I know
Exactly.
that'd be so epic.
Man, oh, can't
Yeah.
wait. Ida, you came into our world for a reason. I'm
Yes.
convinced. This is so exciting. Where can people find you? Where can people connect with you? Where can people find out more about what you do?
Yeah.
If they're looking for that, EA desperately.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to my website, just islabrook.com, Brooke without an E. Or you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Isla Brooke. And if you're wanting to become an executive virtual assistant, we also have our executive virtual assistant online community for free. So you can come and join our free community there as well. So pretty much just search my name and you'll find all my things.
That's awesome. We're gonna leave
so
the
good.
links at the bottom of the
Thank you.
description right here, so everybody can go and check it out.
This is so much value first for that entrepreneur that needs that person, but also that person that wants to change their environment and be in the mix with people that are doing great things. So you have the solution for those two worlds, and it's incredible. That's amazing.
This reminds me, I'm not very proud of saying this, but this reminds me of the Hannah Montana song, The Best of Both Worlds,
Yeah, you should not
ask me,
be proud of
don't
this.
ask me how I know that. Don't ask me.
Yeah, we'll leave that. We'll leave that for episode 100, I guess. Wow. Isla, don't leave yet. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And with that being said, yes, please don't forget to go ahead and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button and follow us on social media. We'll see you in 2 days.
Yeah, guys, and if you find this episode impactful, which I am sure you did, because Isla was awesome. Don't forget to share it and leave a 5-star review. Thank you.
See ya. All right.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. Isla, we're still live on Facebook. We have a small tradition here with selfies, meaning screenshots. So yeah, the Facebook people is tired of that joke, but it's okay. I'll keep saying it. All right. I think we're just gonna smile to the camera. 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
All right.
And we'll see you on
Friday.
Actually, no, we'll see you next Monday. Friday we have special event.
Yes.
So
no Friday.
No Friday. So we'll see you next Monday.
Let me do a little Instagram